Hello, everybody. Welcome to today's ESC CLOL action. We have Miami University Esports up against Ball State. My name is Jason J. Allen.
My name is Caden Citro, also known as Onion_JPEG, and we have a very exciting game today.
Yes, we do. Ball State is undefeated currently, while Miami sits even at 4-4 in ESC. I do want to note, unfortunately, Riot Games client has screwed around with us again, and there is a spectator bug in client, so we're not going to be able to see draft. But other than that, things are going to be normal, and we'll be able to talk about the draft as soon as we get into game, which we are going to be getting into just about now. So I'm really excited to see what these drafts looks like. I was thinking about Aatrox was an important pick for this matchup, considering that Ball State likes to play Fiora a lot, and Fiora is really good into Aatrox, so if you just ban it. And as I say that, let's start talking about our top lane. Final Boss of Ohio picking up his Comfort Aatrox pick. We saw it played a lot against the series versus Buffalo, and it was a high prio pick. Up against the Yone top. Yone flex pick mid top. See it every so often. I believe that Inigo has played the Yone top before, so I'm excited to see that again. As for the jungle, we see the Lee Sin up against Evil Lobster's Xin Zhao. Evil Lobster has sort of been defaulting to this pick a lot recently, with Trundle and J4 being middle of the pack picks nowadays, instead just defaulting to the Xin Zhao. And typically we see Xin Zhao played with Enchantress's shielding powers. Speaking of shielding powers, the mid lane for Ball State, Wombat Baby has the Karma mid, which while it was recently nerfed, is still really annoying to play against. I would say those mantra Qs are so polarizing.
I just recently played a Karma mid game, or a Karma top game, rather. And it was just not fair. You get Malignance, and then I think you just kind of win, right?
Pretty much. So playing up against Quagert's Anivia, which classic Quagert pick. We've seen him play, I believe he played it once in the Buffalo series. If not, very recently it was played. This is a total comfort pick for him. Gonna have to be looking at those walls, see how impactful they are. Down on the bot side, we see the classic Tahm Kench Senna lane, already applying some pressure onto NTSP's Sivir, which we saw as a little bit of a pocket surprise pick paired with the Yuumi last game up against Buffalo, this time paired with Valencia's Soraka. And the Soraka healing is going to be a major factor in this game, especially up against a lot of Ball State's dive. It might be a little bit scary. So we're going to have to pay attention to a lot of those Equinoxes to try and silence and provide some space for her team.
We did play this, a very similar bot lane. It wasn't the, I can't remember the sport's name.
Soraka?
It wasn't a Soraka last week. It was, I think it was Yumi, right?
Yes, it was Yumi.
Or not last week, but Wednesday. And I think it, from the clips I saw, it looked kind of just fine.
So I think it's the one thing that really kept them in that game. Again, that excuse me, Sivir Yumi game was a 54-minute absolute banger. Um, so when you go that late with Sivir, she's kind of just keeping you in the game by clearing the waves. There were so many times that Buffalo was able to get Elder. I think there were 3 Elders taken by them, but they were never able to just straight up close out the game because NTSP was able to clear those waves so efficiently with the ricochets. So definitely looking to scale if you're Miami here. But Ball State, man, can they snowball? And Yone and Lee Sin is definitely a pairing you gotta be afraid of. Additionally, the mid lane jungle pairing is really scary. The
For
tether
sure.
on Karma can set up a Sonic Wave resonating strike so easily if you're Lee Sin.
Yeah, I just kind of hate Lee Sin as a champ. Both myself and both playing and playing against. I think it is a very strong laner, or a very strong jungler. Especially if he gets ahead, like he kind of requires.
Evil Lobster's gonna find the Lee Sin here, going to immediately on him. I believe he wins this 1v1. Already taken really deep into the red. Quagert's here for backup, but so is Wombat Baby, and Final Boss of Ohio is here as well. Evil Lobster's going to be able to pick it up, but he's going to force the flash away, and it's actually going to pick up first blood for Final Boss of Ohio, and they are looking for more. Flash Frost is flashed, but that's a great crystallized block off the wall. Inigo is going to be able to trade 1 kill, but will have to snap back. The Lobster's trying to best to kite away. Will he be able to pick up the kill? It won't look like it just yet. When becomes lightning will secure Wombat Baby as the rebirth passive on the Anivia will keep Quager alive. Inigo is moving into Miami's jungle. Likely will just recall from there. Overall, it's a 2-for-0, 2-for-1, excuse me,
Yeah,
for Miami. So you love to see it
a
this early.
very nice start. We got the first blood, which is a very nice influx of gold there, as well as the
Oh, bot
the
lane.
extra.
Things are happening bot lane. Valencia is taking dangerously low as well. She already fell. She's going to have to flash away, and she does. So she will be
Does
safe
live.
there. I mean, we've already been sort of seeing it on this map. The Senna Tom is really, really powerful, especially into NTSB and Valencia.
And it just gets stronger as the game
Right. Oh,
goes
Sonic
going.
Wave does connect. Remember, Quaker doesn't have the Rebirth, so he's going to have to flash away from this one.
But yeah, like we were saying, the Senatom is just a very strong lane, and it gets even stronger as the game gets going. Senna spikes at 1 item. I think she goes. Does she still go Umbral Glaive first, or does
I
she
would
go?
imagine that she
Uh,
would go Umbral Glaive.
Umbral Glaive is just a very strong item, very efficient for Senna specifically. Um, and even at like 2 items, she's going to be 2 or 3 shotting you. So she just gets very, very strong, especially against a squishy ADC like Sivir.
Right, Evil Lobster. Moving up towards this top side of the map, there's going to be a wave pushing, slow pushing towards Ball State's side on the top side. Grubs are up, so is the first Drake. It is Cloud. We'll
Cloud,
see.
you kind of want the Cloud soul, right? So it means you're not going to get a Cloud soul, unfortunately.
The Lobster does already take one of the Void Grubs away to deny the potential 6. Already was sort of looking to shadow up topside, but I think he's going to be able to just safely take the other 2 of these Void Grubs away. Both junglers on the top side of the map. Don't need to worry about any response with anything. Can also match top lane if need be. But Inigo is already below half health right now from these trades.
Fight around Grubs is about to break out.
Right.
Maybe?
2 have already been taken by Evil Lobster. Have to see here. NTSB is going to want to shove this wave, meanwhile, bot side. Quagert's moving over as well, and so is Final Boss of Ohio. I think they totally want to get him out of the way. All 3 Void Grubs, meanwhile, are taken. Meanwhile, NTSB, it's a nice spell shield onto Chumslog. You won't be able to get much out of it, but they still trade so effectively into this Miami bot lane. But Valencia is doing a pretty good job keeping them healthy.
They took a lot of damage from the minions there, as the E coming out to get rid of Chain. But the Ball State bot lane took a lot of damage from minions, as well as just getting autoed by the Sivir, and looked at the time like Ball State did lose that trade, but there's so much healing on the side of Ball State with the Tom Kinch Gray Health and the Senna Hugh, just healing up for a fairly good amount.
Right, and Evil Lobster is going to take it back here. I'm interested to see where he passes to next. I would presume his bot side of the map, as well as this Lee Sin is already on the bot side of the map. Cloud Drake is available still. I do like the prio a little bit on the grubs here, especially since Final Boss of Ohio has actually been doing a pretty good job in his lane. You can already see a pretty sizable CS lead is being obtained there. So taking those Void Grubs, especially with something that didn't happen in the series against Buffalo. Buffalo really, really liked to prioritize those Void Grubs, and Miami was willing to give them up every single time, but it didn't actually bode well in the long run. So I like to see Miami not afraid of this 8-0 Ball State, willing to just take objectives early. Wombat Baby is completely stuck in the wall. We'll take a big trade against Quager. Fun crystallized things.
And Anivia is such an interesting champion to see in games like this because she, with the ability to just add terrain, not only does it screw with pathing, right? If you're trying to click somewhere and then there's a wall suddenly there, you can't click there and your character will move very oddly. Things like that where you just get stuck and you just have to take it for a minute. It's a very interesting way for the game to interact.
Lee Sin has been taking this dragon. Chumpslock is going to go in onto Valensula, and Evil Lobster is going in and has actually stolen the Cloud Drake. He might have to fall. Meanwhile, he's been devoured. Evil Lobster is trying his best to get away. The ultimate is saving him a lot of health, but the Senna ultimate comes back out. Quagert's been taken very low as well, and NTSP is in a really bad spot. On the hunt won't be able to get him away. A double kill going over to this Karma. Quager is going to follow as well. The Rebirth, not going to be enough there. Valensula is the only one able to get away with her life, but Dragon does go over to Miami.
That was unfortunate. We got the Dragon, which is nice. But even with the Dragon, we are behind on gold, right? So it's not really worth, but it was a good look. I think, I don't think there was a look there for a fight. I think Evil Lobster gets in, steals the Dragon, and then just leaves.
Right.
I don't think there's any version of that where you actually take that fight and win.
Yeah, Miami seemed a little dysfunctional there. I think NTSP sort of like was caught in the thick of things, and I mean, on the hunt gives you move speed, but that's not gonna be that effective against a tether from Karma,
Right.
like non-stop Lee Sin chase, the Tom Kench dive. So you only have one spell shield available as well.
And also, our bot lane was looking at like 0 and 0-1 currently. Or 0-2 now after that, but before it was 0-1.
NTSP doesn't spell shield available just yet, will not have it, so he's going to have to flash away. A good engage by Chumpslog. Meanwhile, Dragon Kick's going to secure Gromp, but it's going to save his life. It looks like it will with a flash away.
But what I was saying is our bot lane is very weak right now. Sivir, with basically no items.
Oh, the slow comes out again,
really
but
nice
this time NTSP does have spell shield exactly. But Chumpslog is such a brick right now. Meanwhile, mid lane, Quagert's taken very low. Those mantra Qs are just massive. Wombat Baby picks up the solo kill. Evil Lobster is going to be taking the rest of those Void Grubs, looking to pick up all 6 though for Miami, so some pushing power for them.
Malignance is completed for that Karma, and that's why she was doing so much damage there.
Right.
She's 3, 1, and 2. A lot of gold in her pocket. Total of 4,000. I think she has the most gold in the game currently. She does.
Lee Sin is invading right now. Kind of looking bot here. It's only Chumpslog in lane though. But he can just kind of go in. They just sort of don't deal any damage. Chumpslog sort of 1v2 this. Going to actually devour NTSP. Senna is coming really soon, but it's just so sad. They just don't have any damage this early. Great aggression by Chumpslog, and Lee Sin gonna force a flash out of Valensula as well.
So much of that damage comes just from the Bomby Cinder. And just the pure numbers on Tom Kinch. He has very good damage early, even when you're building full armor for full tank. So that was just really kind of sad to watch. Uh, he wasn't, yeah, at least wasn't healing off of the autos. But you do get to points where
Oh, I
oh,
was just expecting sort of a quick dive from Final Boss of Ohio while you were talking, and that's exactly what he did. Finally picks up another solo kill, which I love to see because he's really been applying so
uh-huh.
much pressure in that top lane. You can see 97 to 69 in CS department, pretty much equal to the mid lane difference that we're seeing with 110 to 88.
I think Aatrox is a fairly good matchup into Yone. Um, but it's rough. Um, I'm not sure.
Wombat Baby, Crystallize, and the Glacial Storm's gonna pick him up a little bit. Evil Lobster's looking for the Wind Becomes Lightning. Flash Frost is going to land. I think Quaker might just be able to get that solo kill, and it's big shutdown gold going over to him. Also has that Malignance built,
Yes.
starting to deal a lot of damage.
I did not know Anivia built Malignant.
I think it makes a lot of sense when you're trying to trap people in your Glacial Storm
Right.
area. That magic resist debuff is going to be huge for that.
It does make sense. I just wasn't. I haven't seen an Anivia be played recently in any of my games, and I have conveniently missed all
Oh,
of the
World Ender comes out. Evil Lobster's coming top lane as well, going to land the knockup. Wind becomes
nice.
lightning, and it's another kill. Going over to Final Boss of Ohio. I've been trying to sort of egg Evil Lobster towards this top side of the map, but I will pause that thought for a quick second. Sivers starting to deal some decent damage now. We'll get a heal from Valencia as support. But yeah, Evil Lobster playmaking a little bit less than I would expect
Uh-huh.
so far this game. Playing more of the objectives, which has been paying off. He's getting 6 grubs, gonna probably be able to pick up this Rift Herald. Did steal away one of the dragons, but not really able to get any kills in any solo lanes or anything like that. Finally did path top to get a kill there. But I sort of was expecting more dives, especially on this Yone when this Aatrox has had Eternal Push. They might find him once
Ooh.
again. Fate Sealed is going to be forced to be used. Meanwhile, though, bot lane is pressure. Valencia is very low. And here comes the Abyssal Dive, and Lee Sin on the hunt is used to get away to safety, and that is exactly where they will find themselves.
But on what you were saying about Evil Lobster not really having as much of an impact as we kind of wanted here, he did have that really early lead, which was nice. But he's just not really done much in other lanes.
I think now he's starting to show up after that gank top lane. Now with the Rift Herald using it mid, getting that tower down. Looks like he's going to try to bring the Rift Herald top. I don't know if he's going to be able to maneuver it. Actually, I think he just brings it away from them. He sort of doesn't want to do the extra crash. I don't
I don't really know. I think he was trying to, and he ran into a wall accident.
know.
Um,
Haven't we all, to be fair?
I click on it and accidentally run into a wall all the time.
Right.
Like, I don't even mean to click on it. But as a fight
Pretty
breaks
good
out,
Flash Frost. Great Glacial Storm trying to get Ball State off of this turret is exactly what he'll be able to do here.
the
Those Mantra
Anivia
Qs are starting to hurt, though.
is doing a fair amount of damage to this Tom Kinch. I think they kind of just need Anivia to do anything against him, because otherwise Chumflog just kind of...
Yeah, definitely. I think Miami is really looking for the long fight in these 5v5s. They want the Glacial Storm tick damage. They want NTSP ricochets to deal as much damage as possible. Final Boss of Ohio is going to be looking for Wombat Baby. I don't know if it's going to be as easy as he expected to. Here comes the World Ender, but look at those Mantra Qs. They are so annoying to deal with. Chumslog is going to Flash Devour. Will be able to save him. Wish comes out to try and keep Final Boss of Ohio alive, of which he is for now, but Shutdown Gold goes over to this Karma. Yeah, you're starting to really see the effectiveness of those Mantra Qs. And Chumslog coming in for the save with the Devour Shield. Nice as well.
Yeah,
Now
I
they're in
mean...
trouble mid lane. NTSP not spell shielding, but will spell shield and flash the Root. Valencia, though, in too much trouble. Another Mantra Q from Wombat Baby will pick up another kill for him.
This Karma mid is just wreaking havoc on Miami. 5-2-2, has the Malignance built, I think, has Horizon Focus built as well. 2 items just doing so much damage.
You're right, exactly. This mid turret will likely just fall here. I think they can sort of just tank this up. NTSP can't do anything about that. And for Miami here, they're still very even in this game. It's only about a 1K gold lead for Ball State. Final Boss of Ohio and Evil Lobster sort of are the ones keeping that gold lead up for themselves, and this Karma's keeping a lot of that gold for Ball State.
Mhm.
And this Karma's going to be really annoying to get onto with Chump Slog's Devour, and with even using Dragon Kick as a form of disengage could be useful. These Karma Shields are going to be annoying to deal with. Tether Heal. I mean, Karma's just a really annoying champion to
Yeah,
play
I
against.
think Karma is just going to kind of rule this game, and the outcome will really be decided by how well Karma is able to play these late game fights where she is kind of in charge and keeping everyone alive with that. If she wants to use a monster shield, or if she wants to just mantra Q at and do like half health bars with it in total, just cool down.
Cool things Karma players do.
Yeah.
Fantastic Final Boss of Ohio able to pick up the solo gold in the bot lane for that turret. And Quaker's matching Inigo in the top lane. Evil Lobster's going to find the Lee Sin just clearing up vision right now. Dragon is going to be spawning in a minute. Evil Lobster's rooted up. Sonic Wave hits.
Lot of
Not going to really look for anything there, though. I'm interested to see how Miami wants to play this Dragon with just only down not even 1K at this point, so they're fairly even. The question is, do they want to take these fights? Because, yeah, they're not behind in gold, but in terms of the champions that they're playing, it may be very hard to get in the area for the
uh-huh.
Dragon and then also win a 5v5, because right now Ball State has complete control over this bot side river.
Yeah, I do think it is kind of a lost fight if they do try to do it. We have an Anivia back who has TP, so she's gonna have an item. Finishing up that Archangel staff. It's there. She has TP. I don't think she wants to use it. I think if we want to take this fight, we have to get a pick
Resonating
first.
Strike. Dragon Courage comes out. Not.
I don't know if we can fight this front to back
Ooh,
with
the
the
Lobster's
Karma.
slowed. He's kind of in a choke point right now. I'd be worried. Good healing so far. Flash Frost lands. That's a big stun onto Shumslog. Can they get him low enough in time, though? It's a fantastic kick onto Valencia. Will cause her to fall. The Lee Sin will fall as well, finally. Fate Sealed will seal NTSP's fate as well as Evil Lobster. It's a double kill going over to this Senna, and now Ball State can sort of kite back and go to this Dragon safely.
Where was Final Boss of Ohio during that fight? I think he was maybe trying to solo Dragon. Um, he was just not there, and it was a 5v4 for Miami, or a 4v5 for Miami, and it just did not work out at all.
Right, it looked really good to start getting the stun onto Chumslog, but the important thing is when you stun up the Tom Kench, if your idea is to burst him, you really need to chain CC and burst him like hell,
Right.
you know? And the problem was, after he got Flash Frost, there wasn't any way to follow up CC. I don't believe the Equinox was placed on top of him. If it was, it expired. So was able to just pop his gray health, and then all the work that Miami had just put into trying to burst him down just sort of went to waste. So then he's able to provide very useful things in those fights. Keep engaging, slowing with his tongue lash. The Devours are great. And then, I mean, Senna was just free firing that entire fight.
Yeah.
And then another awesome flank with the Fate Sealed from Inigo. The
Senna
Yone, he's put behind in this fight. He was put behind in this entire game, but kind of just didn't matter. As long as you land that ult on Yone, it's going to be useful.
The Senna ult as well did a very large chunk of this bot lane's health. During that fight, I saw Valencia and
Even
I think
Lobster's
ESC.
looking. Chumslog, can they burst him down? Gray health is used. Meanwhile, bot side Inigo is probably going to likely just fall to Quagert. Fateseal try to get away. NTSP is taken solo. Wish is trying to keep him alive. Valencia's doing her work to do so. Devour is placed onto this Lee Sin. Infernal Chains lands onto the Tom Kench. Will pull him back. Look at how much healing is coming through. It's finally shut down onto Final Boss of Ohio. And Valencia, absolutely MVP of that fight.
Yeah, that was very nice. She was able to keep everyone very, very healthy, and if not very healthy, alive during that fight. With the Wish came out very early and was very nice. That was a little risky.
Oh, yeah. They're caught in a corner. Quokka's able to pick up a kill.
I don't think they were on vision. I think that was just
Yeah.
intuition, unfortunately.
This is very unfortunate. Still a very good fight. Picking up shutdown gold, going on to final boss of Ohio is also fantastic. Accelerating this Aatrox even further ahead. Although we really want to see NTSB sort of picking up these items because Sivir really, really needs it.
Yeah. She is very item dependent. She's a hyper carry. So without these items, she is going not she's just not going to be doing enough damage to kind of warrant this pick, I think. Obviously, you don't know you're going to be losing, and I don't know if we knew the pick order. So I'm
Ooh, Evil Ops is caught in a really dangerous spot. Resonating Strike, though, does not come out. Don't want to engage too quickly. Very good crystallized forces of flash out of Quokka, though, and that's actually really huge. Dragon is not up for another 2 minutes, but that's kind of about the amount of time of flash. So an important timer to keep in mind if you're Miami because you really, really want to pick up the shutdown gold that's on Quokka right now.
But unfortunately, I don't know if because Senna is playing really far back in all of these fights. Very safe and doing exactly what she needs to be doing. Nice, crystallized. But she is just not in the line of fire at all. And Miami can't really punch through this front line of Ball State enough to get to that Senna.
That's why Valencia, it's really going to be up to her to try and just keep her team in top shape as much as possible, especially with heal cut starting to be built. We see the Bramble Vest on this Tom Kench as well as some heal cut on this Yone. So unlike some other games where we've seen some heavy healing teams where the opponent just sort of can't really build heal cut, Ball State is responding effectively against this Aatrox and Soraka. So just things to keep in mind about how you play these fights, especially before you hit all your items, which is going to be so much later into this game. It's 25 minutes and NTSP still only has that Kraken Slayer built. We'll be able to back shortly, and we'll actually be backing right now to pick up that second item. Likely, I would assume maybe something like a Navori based on his build. But yeah, the gold difference, you can sort of see that NTSP has as much gold as the Senna, who's fasting Senna.
Yes.
So just really far behind right now, and you don't want to be behind if you're Sivir. But if Miami can continue to stall this game out, you know, it's still just under 1k gold lead only for Ball State, which is basically negligible right now. They can continue to stall this game out. I mean, it could look really good for them.
Yeah, even though she's fasting Senna, the thing about Senna is that the passive gold income from
Ooh, Evil Lobster's taken so low already. Crystallize is going to be dodged by Quokka. Remember, he does not have flash, so if that lands, that's pretty huge. But anyways, as you were saying.
As I was saying, never mind.
Actually, never mind. Evil Lobster, again, going to be rooted up. Will be forced to use the ultimate there. On the Hunt is used as well. Valencia is trying her best to keep Evil Lobster alive, but her health is taken pretty low as well. Meanwhile, Final Boss of Ohio is dueling with this Lee Sin. Infernal Chains are going to pull back, taken pretty low. Oh, Miami's trying to cut them off, but it may not be great. Inigo does have the Fate Sealed, will use it, but it's in a terrible spot. Evil Lobster dives into follow-up. It's a great follow-up by Final Boss of Ohio as well. Crystallize is going to force Quokka to move quite awkwardly. Big shutdown goes on to Final Boss of Ohio as well. This World Ender is proving huge. Quaker is unstoppable as well, and Miami picks up 3 kills unanswered.
Am I crazy, or did that Tom Kench go from half health to dead?
Right.
That was very...
Oh, Final Boss of Ohio wants a little bit more. Infernal Chains will land. Pull back, though. Will mean Dragon going over to Miami, which is fantastic. Ball State would have been put to Soul Point if they were to get this Mountain Drag. And Mountain Drake, really not something you want to play against, especially as something like Sivir and Anivia, where you have a lot of small tick damage. You want to be poking with that. So love it for Miami. It's a great response right now from them.
Yeah, it's very close. Miami does have the gold lead, but are 2 kills behind. We have all 6 of these Void Grubs. A single tower on Ball State. It's looking fairly even. for both teams currently. I'm not super sure where.
Yeah, I mean, if you're Miami, you're loving this though, because
Right.
again, the one carry who's not accelerated is your Sivir. So, and right now you were sort of already a little bit down in gold. So the last thing you want is to be wiped in that fight. And then they take Dragon, they get pulled to Soul Point, and then you're looking at a really hard game to continue stalling. Now, I mean, you can stall this game another 10 minutes. Easy. It's almost guaranteed that there's another 10 minutes of gameplay. Although, Caster Curse now exists.
Yeah.
Now that I said that. But my point being that Sivir now has a lot more time.
Correct.
And Final Boss of Ohio picks up more shutdowns in that team fight as well. And he's now accelerated. Don't forget Quager as well, sitting on 3 items now, has a Zonia's available, which is going to be huge against the dive of Tom Kench and Yone. So I like it if you're Miami right now. You got a 2K gold lead. It's even dragons. Just keep playing the game as in the same slow 5v5 way that you've been playing.
What I am worried about though is while we stall this game out for this Sivir, this Senna is just going to be continually getting stronger no matter what because of the souls that she's collecting. She's a infinite scaling champion, so no matter how long this game goes, I think she will just always be stronger than the Sivir, no matter what.
Right, it's going to be about Evil Lobster and Final Boss of Ohio trying to dive and find those edges. Evil Lobster is going in. Final Boss of Ohio is around the edge. The Infernal Chains won't kick back with a Great Dragon Kick to disengage. A TP comes out from this Karma to join the fight. From the Yone, excuse me.
Okay, I thought the Karma was already there.
Yes, and now Miami sort of able to back up. Weren't really able to get anything except a TP out of that forced fight.
Can we get a quick Senna soul check just to see
I would agree.
how far she is on 127 souls
Pretty
currently,
good.
which is it's a fairly good stack count for her. I think she probably has 100% crit rate if I had to guess by now, which is a lot.
Right, and building that lethality build has the Observant, Yomu, and Swiftness boots are going to be really hard to just get on top of her, but that's exactly what Miami's going to have to do again.
Yeah, it's kind of scary. Senna is a very scary character even when she's not fed. And now she is 318, 130-ish stacks,
Right,
stuck behind this very healthy top Kench.
Yeah, the Tom Kench has been really annoying for Miami to deal with, especially in lane, but even in these team fights, you burst him very low, and then the Grey Health sort of just keeps him alive. Senna shield from the ultimate, Karma shield, you know, it's really hard to chew through this meaty fish,
Yes.
if you will. Final Boss of Ohio is trading bot side, top the world ender. It's a close trade, but is able to pick it up before the Fate Sealed stun locks him. So with that kill, they can sort of look towards Baron here, although some decent vision has been set up by Ball State to prevent this, but the pit itself is cleared. I wonder if they're going to pull the trigger. It doesn't really look like they are. I think Final Boss of Ohio is just going to keep pushing this bot side. Karma was called over there. They do have Karma TP available. Evil Lobster is looking for this 3v3 though. Has gotten on top of this Senna, will be forced to devour. Now they can sort of look towards Baron now because Devour is not available. Final Boss of Ohio is going to be able to TP into this fight. Yone does not have the TP when he's up and available.
There's a lot of area denial coming from Quager as well. Big crystalline.
Oh, but look at this Lee Sin. He's looking to flank this, and he's gonna does not actually have the kick available, but is on the flank. So we're gonna have to see how this plays out for Miami. It's a little bit risky, but it is a 5v4. Oh, it's a great crystallized. Wombat Baby's taken solo. Will be flash. Here comes the Lee Sin. Will he be able to steal? And he does. Of course he does. He's getting out to the best of his ability. I don't think he's going to be able to fully survive this, but Final Boss of Ohio will be able to pick him up. So unfortunate that that goes over to Ball State, though, because Yone was brought alive as well, and Yone's really your split push right now.
It doesn't even matter that the jungler does end up falling, because look at these lanes, right? Mid lane is going to be meeting in the middle. Bot lane is also, I think, starting to push, and Yone in that top lane is going to be pushing in, is going to get this tower basically for free. There's no TPs. I guess there is a Nivea TP to match if she really wanted to, but I think it's just gone. Senna is able to push these lanes so effectively with her Q. It does so much damage, especially this late into the game. I think she probably just one-shot, at least I guess she doesn't one-shot the casters, but her autos will one-shot the casters. There's just really good wave push, in wave play rather, and lane push for the side of Ball State that this Baron is very scary.
Right, I really wish we could have seen like what exactly happened in the pit because I don't know if Evil Lobster missed the smite or if he just didn't smite in
I
time.
think he
Not
just
sure what
didn't smite in
happened.
time.
Right. Unfortunate for Miami. They do pick up themselves another Mountain Drake though, so they are at Soul Point, which is going to be very good for them. Um, Although Ball State is kind of an all-in comp, the shield is nice to start with, but it's not going to have as much value as if it was on Ball State's side. At least denying it from them is going to be pretty useful. I love Evil Lobster's aggression in this mid game, though. Sort of been willing to just dive on top of Ball State, knowing that they need to make this Senna really uncomfortable in order to get her dead.
I like the idea, but it's not super worked out. The last fight, I guess it did because you got the Devour out before the proper Baron fight. But the fight immediately after,
Oh, Quaker's taking low. Valencia is keeping her team alive to the best of her ability.
Karma, this is so much.
Ooh, Evil Lobster is going to go in here. They are looking to fight this. Looking at the chump slog right now. Quaker's got a big wall up. Final boss of Ohio lands the inflames onto this Lee Sin. A kickback is going to be pretty huge. Watch the face shield here. It could be huge to turn this fight, but Yone's already been taken so low. Is he going to be looking here? Looks like he will. It's pretty huge. Double kill going over to this Karma. Quaker's in the thick of this fight. Probably not going to be able to pick up anything except the Senna. Rebirth is not going to be saving him here. It's a 3-for-1 in favor of Ball State. And that's pretty huge for them. They're going to be able to knock down several of these turrets, likely to pick up inhib.
That's just so unfortunate. That feat field did so much damage, kept them right, kept the three of them right together for that Karma Q to just absolutely chunk out all of them and end up killing them. Really unfortunate for Miami there.
It's crazy. You know, the goal of this entire game pretty much even. Of course, now here with the inhib being taken, it's going to jut up a little bit, but really nothing more than around like 4K-ish.
Right.
So a very even game state. Creds to Miami so far. Obviously, the game isn't over just yet, but they are playing against a team that has not dropped, I don't think, a single game even. So pretty impressive stuff so far. Dragon Kick is going to be used. Just get him away. Pretty low cooldown.
Get away from me.
Oh, Final Boss of Ohio says that's my team's red buff. The smite used by Ball State, but nope, that's Miami's. So Miami has a little bit of life in them still. They are on Soul Point. Dragon is up in 1:30. Baron in 2 minutes time. So really, it's gonna come down to the fight that plays out around there. If Miami's able to claw back in that fight, they might just be able to end the game. Same thing for Ball State, though. So it's going to be really up to this next fight.
Final Boss of Ohio is looking very, very strong. Has 4 items, almost 5.
Right, and a Steel Sigil, which is
yeah,
a really effective component in itself.
a lot of gold on him as well as a little bit of poke at me. But I do want to point out, again, I think it's been this way the entire game. This Karma has had the most gold since, I think, 15 minutes.
Yeah, the Karma doing a very good job playing this mid game. I would say, like, knew her item spikes. Absolutely. Once that Malignance came through, she was roaming around the map. Would pick up those kills, able to tussle, even with Final Boss of Ohio. And they're just... Ball State has such an annoying team, really, to get through. And when you have the Senna being the target of focus, it's really, really difficult to get by the Karma, the Lee Sin kicks, especially because the way that this Lee Sin is being played is very defensive. Most of these Dragon kicks have been used as disengaged.
Yeah, it's a lot of these defensive Dragon kicks to try to just get the front line from
I think
Miami
we're A-ramming here. It's a kickback as we say it on Quaker. He's going to pop the Zonia's Evil Lobster and Final Boss for Ohio and take a fight. It's a huge fate sealed into the Karma, into the Senna autos. This is disastrous for Miami. Evil Lobster's looking for something, anything, but they're not going to be able to get it. It looks like a flawless ace for Ball State. They
Man.
don't need the dragons. They don't need anything except that one little super minion, or even Chump's Law can tank this turret. Game number 1 in this best of 3 is going to go over to Ball State. It was neck and neck for most of that game, but once again, it all came down to one final fight, and Ball State takes it.
Yeah, that was just super unfortunate. Um, Quaker was just slightly in a bad position, and he just gets super punished for it. All of Miami also gets punished for it, and it's just game.
Right as we're saying as well, this Lee Sin has to use the dragon kick to be able to disengage these
Mhm.
fights. And then of course he goes to Insect onto
Of
Quaker. It's
course.
almost like Miami also forgot that, that's not just a Tristana ultimate, it's also a tool to engage.
Yes.
Quaker getting kicked there sort of sets up that bad fight. And then we saw, even though Yone was set so far behind the Fate Seals, so useful, and they comboed so well with Ball State's team. The Mantra Inner Flames,
Mhm.
huge damage, setting up the Malignants for all the follow-up, and then the Senna just able to free fire from most of this fight, and if for some reason Miami ever jumped on her, Devour, all this Tom
Right.
Kench peel was there.
Yeah, Tom Kinch, I think, is really what makes that Senna Tom Kinch lane shine. Just because Senna is just able to survive so long and just free hit and farm up more souls. I wish we would have checked what her soul count was at the end of that game
Oh,
there.
yeah.
It probably was very high.
It's such an annoying lane too. Sometimes when you think about those bot lanes that are really great mid game fighters or late game fighters, you think, okay, well, the thing that we can punish is their early game. But I think unless you're playing Varus, like it's gonna be really hard to pressure a lane like that. I would have, again, I wish we could have seen draft
Yeah,
because I would have loved to know when this Sivir was picked up,
right.
because I just think the Sivir into that Senatom is a really, really rough lane to play
It's really
against. It's
bad.
really hard. You have only one spell shield, and yes, you can spell shield the Tom Kench knockup, but if he lands the tongue lash on you, that slow is like 80,
Hmm.
90% when it's maxed. So it's really hard to get away against. We're
Yeah.
gonna have to see if Miami though can come back, because this is a best of 3 and they were neck and neck up against this undefeated Ball State team. So don't go anywhere with us. We will be right back. We're going to take a short break before game number 2 in this best of 3 series. Don't go anywhere. And we're back.
Yeah.
ESC Collegiate League of Legends with your Miami University Redhawks up against Ball State. Ball State was able to take game number one, but it was a very, very close game. Um, I really liked the way that Miami was playing sort of as a team in that fight. They were looking for the flanks, but ultimately really just came down to one fight and Quaker getting caught out there, unfortunately, with the Lee Sin kick.
Unfortunate.
It's just sort of sealed the game. So what sort of draft changes are you looking for if you're Miami here?
Well, assuming that the draft makes sense, I okay, we can't see the draft because we're using the raffle files.
Yes.
I'm hoping that if something like Senatom Kinch happens again, I'm hoping we aren't picking a late game scaling champion.
Or at least a, like, unsafe lane,
Right.
a lane that can be threatened
Um,
easily. Something like I mentioned this, I think, on cast, a Varus Ash lane. Something
yes.
just really annoying. Bring back Zyra, like,
Mhm.
be really annoying if you're gonna play against the Senatom. Again, Caden just said it, there's currently a spectator bug for those who don't know. This is not on our end, I
Yeah.
swear. I swear our hands are tied. But so we aren't able to get draft to you all, but we will go into game as soon as we can, and we'll be able to talk about draft as soon as we get into game
Right.
for those first couple minutes. In terms of the solo lanes, I'd love to see a Karma ban.
Mhm.
Again, we aren't going to be able to see bans, but we're going to head into game now. I hope I don't see a Karma, and if
I
I do, I hope it's on our team.
no karma.
No Karma immediately. So let's work through it again. Top side of the map, we see a Jax up against Inigo's Aatrox. So once again, we're seeing so much Aatrox gameplay this season, especially this
Aatrox.
split. And this time matching it with the Jax. I think it's an even matchup pretty much. Pretty much whoever gets that first kill, whoever accelerates their lane will accelerate the entire game.
Right. Aatrox is just very dominant currently. His healing and damage is just through the roof. World Ender, it's a very strong ultimate. So, if he's not being played in the game, I'm assuming he's been banned out of that game.
Right. And in the jungle, Evil Lobster, again, right back on that Xinjiao. This has been an absolute comfort pick of his since Trundle and J4 are just not really the types of picks you want to be making in the jungle right now. It's pretty much a default Xinjiao game,
Mhm.
every game for him. And on the other side, we're seeing a Belveth, which is incredible. I love Belveth. I think she's, for a infinite scaling jungler, she has not the worst early game. She doesn't have the worst early clear. Her gank pressure isn't the worst either, especially like when you compare her with like heavy scaling carry jungles like Master Yi. She's just effective.
Right. I I'm a big fan of her. I think her ultimate's very interesting.
Oh,
Um,
we're seeing Raptors into an invade. We're gonna have to see if Eva Lobster sort of catches this and decides to vertical jungle because a ward is placed on his raptor, yeah, his raptors, but there's no ward I don't think for Miami on our top side of the map. So I don't know if Eva Lobster's gonna know this. We're gonna have to see if he's gonna sense it out.
yeah, in our mid lanes here, Veigar versus Ari.
Classic
Veigar,
Quaker pick.
yeah, Quaker loves Veigar.
Loves it.
He's very good at it, and we see these primordial bursts just absolutely demolishing the enemy team whenever he ends up playing Veigar. So
Right.
I am assuming we're going to see even more of that.
Oh, absolutely. It's pretty much like I feel like almost Quaker plays Vagar just to get a clip at this point
Yeah.
because every single game he's getting a one shot, like almost guaranteed onto somebody. Caster Curse exists. Maybe this is the first game where he can't do it, but it seems like every single time Quaker plays Vagar, he plays it so well. He scales way quicker than you think he would, and then the
Yes.
damage just comes out of nowhere. On the other side is the Ari, fairly safe pick, safe laner, safe tool to set up for fights, good mobility for magic damage champion. So you like to see that. And Ball State sticking with the Senatom bot lane. Um,
Unfortunate.
this time, the Senna has cleanse, which is very important considering Miami's bot lane of this Renata and Varus. I like that we're seeing Varus, though. That it's really a great pick into Senna. And Valencia going for this Renata, I like it because the hostile takeover is so good against Ball State's team. But Hold on, NTSP is going to be engaged on the handshake, is going to pull Chumslog away. Some healing from Quokka is going to help him out as he kites back.
The one thing I worry about with this Renata versus Pumpkin.
Oh, Velvet's coming. NTSP's not going to get knocked up. Will be ghosting. They're going to flash forward looking for Chumslog, and he will get it before he falls. Is going to have the bailout on him, but not going to be able to revive. So far, it is a 1-for-1. Valencia going to be playing around with this Senna, going to be rooted up. Nothing more will happen, though. But first blood in a 1-for-1 goes over to my...
What I was going to say is I'm kind of worried about this Renata into a Tom Kinch because the handshake doesn't really stop him from
Final
diving.
boss is looking for a 1v1, but that was a huge cannon wave. I'm not why he was looking for something like that there. I think a cage on mid lane, trying to get a trade-off, dodges the charm. Dark Matter will land as well. Bit of a handshake overall in mid, but yeah,
Renata
the
was getting
weirdness.
go bot lane as well.
Oh yeah. A bit of weirdness happening in top side. Although I say that, and Final Boss of Ohio, TP's back into lane, flashes ahead, is able to pick up a return kill. So there's that at least.
Yeah, a choice.
Peculiar.
To say. Peculiar is a good word there. It's very interesting. And we see a 1-1 both teams in the top lane.
Evil Lobster is topside though, and this Aatrox has no flash available. Here comes Evil Lobster. Final Boss of Ohio is taken pretty low, and it's a pretty big minion wave. Keep in mind, Aatrox healing is pretty good, but I don't think he's going to be able to get out of it. Pretty simple gank will leave with Evil Lobster getting a kill, and will probably transition into 3 grubs taken for Miami. At least 1 to prevent any 6 grub takes if you're Ball State.
A very nice early game by Miami once again. Hopefully
they found the Belveth as well in this invade. Handshake lands gonna pull back. Quaker meanwhile mid lane's getting a trade of himself. Overall nothing's gonna happen though, and Belveth's gonna just leave happy with some more stacks in her belly.
Yeah, it's a very good look for that invade going into the bot lane. Now, Evil Lobster only, I think, has that red buff coming up in quite a while, until it'll be up again.
It's a huge wave, and TSP is going to be able to catch. Well, not without taking some poke, though, as we see Evil Lobster is topside. Dragon is up. It is Mountain Drake. Handshake's going to pull back Chumslog. But that is a beefy catfish, as we've seen since last game. And so these trades aren't going to do a whole lot except push them off. Guarantee NTSP some CS. Belveth has started up this Mountain Drake with this Eternal Push that Ball State has received in the bot side of the map. We'll be able to pretty much just pick that up safely. Push is mid lane as well. Final Boss of Ohio is looking to trade. I don't know if he wants the full thing. Has been Infernal Chain. It's a pretty big minion wave, but Inigo doesn't want to take more than a little bit of a handshake.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, really, that the early game Jax doesn't do enough damage there to make that trade super worth it for the final boss. He did force the Aatrox to back, but now he's on half health, while this Aatrox almost back to his lane on full health.
But this Aatrox is very far behind, to be fair. I say that NTSP taking a huge chunk of damage. The Varus is really good into Senna, Tom Kench, but I almost think as much as I like the Renata in the mid to late game, it's really hard in lane, and he's getting dove immediately. Bailout is placed on him. They're looking for Chumslog. The Grey Health comes out. Are they able to pick up the kill? They are not, so he will not res. Kill goes over to the Senna. Meanwhile, top lane, Final Boss of Ohio is looking for something in Infernal Chain's land, but it won't pull him back. Grandmaster Artharm is going to give him some pretty good resistances. Aatrox does not have flash available, and the kill will go to him. Back to bot lane. Quaker has come down, and so has Evil Lobster, and they're able to pick up Chumslog, but they want a little bit more. Primordial Burst. Finish it off onto Quokka. So some pretty great map play for Miami. Ends up being, what, a 3-for-1 for them.
The Devour was actually kind of troll there for that Tom Kim. He ate the Senna and then died immediately, throwing her into the cage, forcing her to use Cleanse, and then she dies for it anyways.
Right.
That
Uh,
was really
Very
unlucky.
unfortunate.
I guess
And
he thought he was
even
gonna live a little bit longer, but like,
right, and also I will mention, ooh, a great cage stun onto Tom Kench prevents the Abyssal Dive from actually channeling. I was gonna mention that no XP is actually lost from Miami there, even though Wombat Baby was free firing that turret mid lane. NTSP, because he died earlier, even though Quagert went bot, is able to pick up the wave, pick up the XP there. So not a lot missed for Miami, and it ends up being just over 1K gold this early in favor of them.
a very deep word going to spot out Miami's bot lane control word by the Miami's red buff.
Both
Another
junglers
bite.
top side. Final Boss of Ohio is taking some incredible trades. The good thing about diving in these big waves is, yes, there's a risk, but Final Boss of Ohio, his counter strike also blocks minion damage, and he's gonna look once again. Both junglers have spotted each other on top side, so he's gonna just leap away. Actually doesn't want to really commit to that trade, doesn't want to give up anything silly in this lead that he's already built for himself. 80 to 47 in CS. He's
Yeah,
just
this
being really annoying.
this Aatrox down almost 1,200
Yeah.
gold. Just gonna want to
Oh, and
work.
Final Boss of Ohio, I don't think Bush.
That
Great
was
flash
nice.
response with the counter strike as well. Solo kill going over to him. Meanwhile, Cage mid lane means a pretty positive trade somewhat for Quagert. But love to see that. It means likely another 3 grubs going over to Miami. So all 6 will be able to go to them. And this is why I like seeing this from Ball State. Velvet sort of knows that that's happening, so he's going to go bot side. Quagert's looking for something mid. Can the Primordial Burst finish him off? It takes him so low, but not quite low enough. We'll be able to get a push off. TP is not available for this Ahri as well, so it still will be pretty effective, but would have liked to see the kill picked
That was
up.
like, what, an auto or so?
Right,
That's
exactly.
very unfortunate. Void Grubs are going to be slain by Miami once again.
Oh, they could
6-0.
look to dive
Definitely a
NTSP
dive.
here. The root as well into the knockup. Bailout is placed, but it's just not going to do anything. Dawning Shadow finishes it up, and another kill goes over to this Senna. And that's a huge wave. Lots of XP being missed. Plates going over to Ball State. The bot lane is in a bit of a wreck right now for Miami. And Lobster's trying to get something done. Not really end up doing anything.
Yeah, that was just unfortunate for Miami going to be dove there and lose a lot of everything. This bot lane for Ball State is looking very strong already.
Right? Not a great response so far from Miami into this Senna bot lane. You know, if they didn't ban it, they had to know that it was coming back again. Great cage setup, though, means that Ahri can't really dash her way out of this one. Doesn't even have the ult available, but does have flash. We'll be able to get away from that. No Primordial Burst available just yet to finish her off. But once again, she's going to have to back here. Does have TP available this time, though. But there's already that wave under her turret.
That's going to hit, too, going to force the TSP far away so that he doesn't die under tower once again.
So Miami's solo lane's doing pretty well, and they do have a Jax, which can more effectively dive onto this Senna, which is pretty good follow-up with the Xin Zhao. It's going to be up to how these team fights are played, because last game, again, this Senna was just unkillable, unreachable even.
Right, and if she gets a bunch of stacks like she did last game, she's going to be able to just play so far away.
Ooh, no flash. World Ender used Grandmaster at arm. It's going to deal even more damage. And it goes looking for something, but once again, Final Boss of Ohio is just one step ahead in this solo top lane. And, you know, all things considered, Final Boss of Ohio is having a great series. His solo lane has been incredible.
The goal.
Yeah. Just so far behind. They're actually going to be able to pick up 2 turrets as tier 2 because it's 6 grubs taken by Miami. Really great so far if you're Miami here. You're up 4K gold. You're down 2 dragons, which if your Ball State is really what you're looking to as a backup for you. But this Jax is going to be so hard to deal with. It's going to be all up to Tom Kench being right next to the Senna in team fights.
Yeah, it's really just going to be up to positioning, and it's really unfortunate because, in my opinion, games like that are just so boring, right? The Senna is so strong to where she gets to just play super far back, and as long as this
Oh, pretty good cage lands. Gonna force out the cleanse from Coca. I think he purposefully went into that
Yeah.
cage because didn't want to stay in it. Would have been way worse for him. The Lobster's getting dove upon. Gonna pop the ultimate. Might want to actually look for something here into Quokka. Here comes Final Boss of Ohio swooping in with the Chemtech Soul. And yeah, I mean, Miami had a chance to. They get the Ari ult out of it, but Dragon not available quite just
Over the
yet. And
wall.
uh-oh, he's stunned up.
No.
Final Boss of Ohio's in a bad spot. The Counter-Strike Stun is going to land while devoured, though, and they are actually going to be able to pick up the kill, and
Wait.
Final Boss of Ohio is still alive. Chumslog forced the flash over the wall. Meanwhile, Quager is looking for something onto Wombat Baby, but he might be in trouble himself. Will be flashing away, but I don't know if it's going to be enough. Trying to find a return kill. Will Primordial Burst onto Quokka, but it's not enough. Shutdown does go over to this Ari.
Yeah, I mean, Miami is looking ahead here. They are down to Dragons, but otherwise 3,000-ish gold, as well as 6 Void Grubs. Feeling pretty good. A lot of that gold lead does come straight from this top lane, though.
Yeah, that was a really weird interaction. I don't know if you saw it. Inigo was TPing. Like, he channeled TP. NTSP's in a lot of trouble, though. Maybe he kind of wished that Inigo TP'd away from him. World Ender trying to catch him up. Will he be able to? He has the bailout on him, but doesn't even need to try to res because he just survives. This Aatrox is so far behind, it does no damage quite just yet, and they're able to pick up a kill onto him.
Yeah, that feels awful if you are that Aatrox. You
Oh!
oh
Chumslog takes away the blue buff. Oh, and it's a great Rube onto 2. Abyssal Dive onto 2 as well. Valencia's taken solo. Bailout is not going to free her from the inevitable death she has. And it's going to be
that's
Rift Herald
unfortunate.
going over Ball State. Final Plus Ohio is looking to try and pick off Chumslog with Quager, but it's so tanky. And now it's really bad. A 3-man knock-up on this Bel'Veth. Another knock-up onto Evil Lobster. He's gonna die as well. Shutdown Gold goes over to the Bel'Veth. And all of a sudden, the lead that Miami built has just disappeared completely.
So I'm kind of confused. I thought we would have learned our lesson after last game, seeing this trying to kill this Tom Kinch solo. He's just so beefy that none of this damage really matters, and he has all that great health even when he does get low. We knew almost all of Ball State was there in that jungle, so I don't know why we decided to take the fight when we knew that there were.
Right. Really unfortunate for Miami. They were looking like they were in a great position in this game, and now that gold lead just totally disappeared. And that's important considering that Ball State has 2 dragons. You know, this next Drake up in a minute will put them at soul point. Yes, it's Chemtech, which isn't the best, but Valencia, I mean, look how much damage she takes from Senna. The Senna deals so much already.
Yeah, if we could get another soul check onto this Senna just to see where she is. 77 stacks. She needs 3 more for her next checkpoint, which I believe will be more crit chance every 20, right?
Yes, yeah. So you need to get to 40, I believe, for the increased range. Then every other additional 40 is increased.
That as well. That is a very important number. Each of these intervals of 40 on the Senna gets you so much more range. I think at 80, she matches or is farther range than Caitlyn.
Yeah. So, I mean, again, really hard to get on top of her, even with this comp that is a little bit better equipped to do so with the Jax added to the Xin Zhao. But are they going to be able to survive if they can't 100-0 her, because Tom Kench Devour is so useful, and you know he's going to be right next to her.
Yeah, I'm worried because there is just so much heal available for this Senna.
They've caught out Chumslog again, but I think they've learned their lesson to not full commit on anything. All State picks up the Chemtech Drake, will put themselves onto Soul Point at 17 minutes. Not what you want to see for Miami. So do they want to slow this game down? Yes, but also Senna's just going to keep getting more powerful. Yes, you have a Veigar this time to match her, but again, it's all up to how they play these team fights effectively.
Another largely unfortunate thing for Miami is a lot of your damage is going to be AD damage, which is really not great when you have a Tom Kinch with multiple armor items. He's just going to eventually not take any damage, even from a Jax, even from a Varus late game. And Xin Zhao is that 4-1 for Miami, but even then he's not going to be doing nearly enough damage to this Tom Kent, I think.
Look how much turret damage though this Jax deals. Just leap away with the ward as well. I do want to note that Boss of Ohio does have shutdown gold on him, so it's really important that he plays this side lane in a very safe way. A pretty good cage lands, but Dark Knight is going to be just sidestepped
Unfortunately.
by Womp.
Yeah, I am curious to see what Miami looks for to kind of push the lead. Like they have a very, very slight lead right
Yes,
now. Only about
like 1k.
yeah,
Just a
only
little
about
over
1,000.
1k, which at 20 minutes, starting to get a little bit negligible. You're not going to really be feeling it as much. It's more so feels a lot evener. Um, Lancela is rooted up, though this could be bad. He's going to have to hostile takeover. Meanwhile, bot side, Final Boss of Ohio is doing the Jax things that he's been doing all game, just whacking this Aatrox with a lamp
Oh
and going to pick
no.
up another solo kill in the side lane. And it's actually going to be pretty annoying if you're Ball State to deal with this Jax if he stays in the side lane, especially if the only person that can respond in a stall way is kind of the Ahri.
It looks
Because
like that's what's
Aatrox
gonna
is going to
happen.
die. The Ahri can stall pretty well. You don't want Bel'Veth there. You want her at objectives. And you definitely don't want Senna Tom Kench matching, you know?
No,
Overwhelmed.
absolutely not. The Ari is a very awkward match, but it's definitely what I think they just have to do. Otherwise,
Final
not
boss.
much.
Looking for something here. Chumpog is the flash.
Which I think is fine. He's not using his flash
Oh,
very
pretty
much.
big slow means lands at the final boss of Ohio. He's taking pretty low. Counter-Strike is used, but it's just going to leap away to safety. Pretty big knock-up, though, will set up the rest of the fight in favor of Ball State. Bailout is placed on the final boss of Ohio. I don't know if he's going to be able to pick up a response kill. He will not. The Dawning Shadow is going to land on the Evil Lobster, but it's not going to be enough to take him out. But Miami is so low here. These team fights are just not able to operate effectively through. And this could just mean Baron at 21 minutes for Ball State.
I think it totally is this. Belduff does so much damage to this Baron, as well as the Senna is able to both do a lot of damage and also heal up, but Senna's not even going to be at the Baron. He's going to be mid lane, clearing waves.
I
But
don't think I've ever seen a Rift Herald spawned at Baron.
I don't think I have either.
How funny is that?
Um,
He's going into the top
Gonna
lane.
get the charge off on the
Yeah.
top tower.
Shouldn't
Which
be
is
able to finish it
funny.
off. So Miami does have 6 scrubs, and they do have a Jack split push. That's really their win condition this game. Obviously, right now, up against Baron, kind of hard. So it's going to be away from the split push and just sort of clearing waves for the next few minutes. Looks like Evil Lobster is going to try to catch someone out.
I really don't think if they do blind check, I don't, or blind
Ooh.
peek, I don't think they
Shumslog's not the one you want to fight.
Right. There's this Ari
Or
and
they
this
might be
Bel'Veth
getting
here.
cornered, but it's a pretty good cage into a handshake double stun. This
Okay.
could be exactly what they're looking for. Shutdown gold goes onto the Jax as well, and they pick up another onto Wombat Baby. Pretty good play by Miami. It paid off. I was worried about them getting crunched there by the Senna Tom, but it ended up working out for Miami.
I do worry that even though we can deny the soul, what happens next?
Right.
What can we do here that matches or that gets us enough of a lead to where we can convert it into a win, right? Because there is just so much damage on the side of Ball State. I don't know if, like, in a 5v5, I don't think Miami really ever wins, at least not in the current state of the game.
Right. I mean, I think, again, it kind of just comes down to one fight. The game is pretty even once again. Miami's able to stop Seoul being taken by Ball State. This Jax has been opening up the map a lot for Miami through these side lane pushes and can easily duel against this Aatrox, which is so far behind this game that all Miami kind of needs is one really good fight or one or two really good fights to sort of just end this game. And then if you're Ball State, it's sort of the same way. You know that the 5v5 is pretty much in your favor. So it's just about not getting caught out in side lanes. If you're Senna, you need to be playing with your Tahm Kench, which he's been doing this entire game very well. And just trying to mitigate the Jax damage as much as possible and force Miami to have to 5v5 you. And then it'll pretty much look good for them, and all they, again, need is really one good fight to sort of close this game out.
Yeah, one good game fight, but I think that is true for both teams here, where if a big fight goes in either way, the other team just kind of loses.
Right, again, for playing against a team that has not dropped a single game, Miami keeping it even both games so far, up until the very end.
Yeah,
And it's only 24 minutes too. And we have with a Vigar and Senna, both these teams are really willing to elongate this game.
I do want to commend Miami for this. The game has been completely even almost all game. In fact, I think there were a lot of moments where Miami actually had a bit of a lead. It's never been.
Did they collapse? Like they wanted to.
I don't think they can
I'm surprised
anymore.
NTSP doesn't just throw out the Chain of Corruption. I guess Coco does have Cleanse available, but it would guarantee that she uses it.
Right.
And it's such a low cooldown as well. But not going to be using it. Belveth is looking to sort of seem, but it's like instead she's going to look mid lane right now. We'll find Evil Lobster. We're going to duel a little bit, but Senna is coming as well. Now Evil Lobster's in a bit of trouble. Sterix is going to keep him fairly alive. We'll flash away from the Abyssal Dive. TP does come out as well. This Ahri. Can we get a stack check on both Quager and Senna? I'm really interested to compare the two, actually. Especially Vigar. I'm curious to see where he's at because we should be able to see him one-shot this Senna pretty soon.
244.
Right. I mean, that's pretty good.
33 AP.
You'll love to see that. And as for the Senna, it's around
108.
Right.
So again, a very close to next range upgrade about 12 souls away, which at this point in the game is not very hard to get. I think she is feeling very confident in her ability to just kind of
Oh my gosh.
super
Look at the
far range.
damage. Meanwhile, bot side, we've been used to this, but now Final Boss has really nice sidestep on. Can he finish off against the healing? A flash away from this. Gets away safely. Flash Charm lands, and they'll be able to pick up another kill onto Final Boss of Ohio. That's Shutdown Gold. Actually, I don't believe that was actually Shutdown Gold, but it goes over to Wombat Baby. So now Ball State now has free reign over this map. It's a minute 30 for them to set up for this Soul Drake. There's also only a minute left until Baron is available. The Lobster's going on to this Belveth. Senna's completely stolen away onto the side. I'm surprised they weren't looking for anything. It was a nice three-man route that landed. I think might have prevented them from looking onto Quokka.
That was a very
Evil Lops doesn't have find it. They are able to pick up Chump's Log. Primordial Burst finishes him off. Pretty nice response kill at a better time as well, because now this Jax is going to be available for Dragon or Baron.
With Chump's Log down, that makes this Senna so much more vulnerable to every type of engage. This Senna has to play super safe or she dies.
Yes, and Final Boss of Ohio does have TP available, so he's going to go bot lane right now, and I think Miami has the right idea here. Get this Baron immediately, because just as you said, Senna can't do anything right now. It's too hard for Belveth is mid lane as well, and this Baron's taken so low, I think it's just almost guaranteed to go over to Miami, and it will. So Miami keeping it even in this game. Gold lead is just around 1K, negligible at 27 minutes, so you love to see it. Dragon is up in 7 seconds. Tahm Kench has spawned, does have TP available, and will immediately TP towards Dragon. Miami's backing, though. I think they're just going to give it.
That feels awful.
It is Chemtech Soul, which is an important thing to note. It's not going to be as powerful as an Infernal Soul, a Mountain Soul, Ocean Soul, anything like that. And I guess if you're Miami here, if you want to continue stalling this game, you got 6 minutes till Elder. And Elder will win games, you know?
Mhm.
So they do have Baron available, so they'll be able to push pretty effectively, especially through this Jax in the side lane. So let's see how Miami goes about this Baron play. Again, all it really can take is one fight for this game to break open for either team.
Yeah, it's really scary for both teams here.
Oh, Evil Lobster's especially in a bad spot right now up against this Bel'Veth champ.
Yeah.
Corruption doesn't do enough over the wall. They'll be able to pick up a kill. And they're actually looking to just spiral each other forward, flash
So many
away from
flags.
Philip. Quaker's in a terrible spot. Hostile takeover comes out a little bit too late. It's not going to be enough. Valencia is going to fall as well to this Ari. It's a double kill. Flash over the wall by Quokka is going to secure that. Final Boss Ohio, I think, is just going to have to go for a base race here because I think Ball State will be able to break open Miami here. So it's really going to be up to this Aatrox, which hasn't been able to bode quite well up against Final Boss. We'll see what happens here. Death timers are relatively long on most. We'll see what can Final Boss do. It's a base race to the best of his ability, but he's already taken so long by this Aatrox. Is he going to be able to do anything here? We'll be able to get one turret down, but it's another turret in response on the other side. Final Boss has taken so long, he will actually fall. The base race doesn't come true. It's not in Miami's fate. Ball State will take this game and will take the series.
Really heartbreaking. Both games ending on such a like close point.
So close.
They were so close in gold. They were completely even almost for most of the game, and then right at the end, a lost fight spells disaster.
Yeah, like we said, both of those team comps in both games, it was all about like that one fight.
Mhm.
If it's even for the entire game, which it was, kept coming down to one fight, and both times Ball State was the one who showed up. So credits to Miami, they had a great performance today, but ultimately weren't going to be able to take it. Ball State now moves up to 9-0 in ESCC law. Miami down to 4-5. Thank you so much for joining us today. Make sure to go follow us on Twitter at RedHawksGG, where you can find updates about our esports programs and games like this one. My name is Jason J. Allen.
And my name is Caden Citro, also known as Onion_JPEG.
Thank you so much for joining us, and we will see you on Wednesday at probably 8 p.m. for another ESC CLOL action with Miami University. We will see you there. Thank you so much for joining us today. Peace.